Father's Day in downtown Cleveland. The sun is shining brightly, but temperatures a bit on the cool side as the Indians and the Tigers put the wraps on this rain-shortened two-game series. I get everyone, Matt Underwood, alongside Rick Manning as the Indians look to break a 5-game losing streak of their own and a 10-game losing streak at the hands of the Detroit Tigers. That's the longest losing streak against Detroit in 90 years for Cleveland.
Well, and Detroit certainly has dominated in every facet of the game. They're scoring many more runs. Their pitching has been much better. The defense has been much better. And when you look at it and even extend it out a little bit more, they're 18-4 since the 2009 season. But when you look at the numbers, you can see Detroit has outscored them 6 runs to 3.5. You're not going to win many games at 3.5 runs per ball game. The defense hasn't been very good. 9 errors compared to 2. They're going to have to find a way to stop this streak.
The last time the Indians beat Detroit, August of a season ago, when Carl Pavano was the winning pitcher for the Tribe in an 11-1 win over the Tigers. Mitch Talbot will get the call for the Tribe today, and in his first start as an Indian, he went up against Detroit. And Rick, he didn't pitch well early. You and I both thought he was going to be knocked out of the game, but he showed us something on that day, an ability to really grind his way through, pitch the last 2 innings scoreless, and really set up what has been a remarkable run so far.
It really has. It was only his second major league start. He came out there, and we thought the knockout punch was there. You can see he was upset with himself. He finished the last 2 innings, and he has pitched very well since. So it's nice to see him get another chance at the Tigers today. We'll see what happens going up against Max Scherzer, who's never pitched against the Indians. He's been roughed up in his last 2 outings against the Twins. He hasn't even gone 5 innings.
So the Indians look to snap the skid today against Detroit, and we'll be back with all the play-by-play action coming up next. Back here at Progressive Field, Indians and Tigers ready to wrap up this brief, rain-shortened 2-game series on a cool, wind-swept day here in downtown Cleveland.
A little nicer today. The wind's not quite as bad today as it was yesterday.
That is, without a doubt, the truth. On the hill for the Indians today is Mitch Talbot. While he makes his warm-up tosses, let's look at Jim Leyland's starting 9 for the Tigers. Austin Jackson, Johnny Damon, Maglio Ordonez. Then in the middle, you've got the big slugger Miguel Cabrera, followed by Brennan Boesch, Brandon Inge, Alex Avila will catch and hit 7th, Scott Sizemore hitting 8th, and Ramon Santiago will bat 9th.
Today's starting pitcher brought to you by the Indians Team Shops, where you get 2 free tickets when you spend $50. Mitch Talbot on the mound for the Indians today, making start number 6, a 3-2 record, 288 earned run average. His very first start of the year came against these Tigers, where roughed up early, but he was able to get through it, pitched the last 2 innings of that ball game, not allowing a run and settling down, so now he gets another crack at it. So we'll see how Mitch Talbot can do against them today, but he's been pitching very well. So he needs to try and get the Indians on a winning track.
Austin Jackson steps in to lead things off today for Detroit. And what a great trade this looks like it has been already for the Detroit Tigers.
Well, this guy, 15 multi-hit games already. He's done a terrific job in that leadoff spot for Jim Leyland.
Mitch Talbot misses inside, and the count 1-1 strike. There is Jim Leyland, manager of the Detroit Tigers, who start the day 2.5 games in back of front-running Minnesota in the AL Central. Swung on and missed, a ball and 2 strikes. The Indians at 10-18, a half games in front of last place Kansas City. 8.5 games off the pace in the division. Talbot with a 1-2. And Jackson checked on a pitch that's just a little bit too far wide of the mark. The American League's Rookie of the Month in April was Austin Jackson. The 2-2 pitch, and he spoils it out of play. You'll notice Austin Jackson using the pink bat. Hundreds of Major League Baseball players across the league will be using the pink bats today, produced by Louisville Slugger. Many players will also be wearing pink wristbands and the symbolic pink ribbon for breast cancer awareness that will be displayed on player uniforms throughout the league. As today, it's the Going to Bat Against Breast Cancer Initiative, a joint partnership between Major League Baseball, its licensed partners, and the Komen for the Cure, the world's largest breast cancer organization. And that all takes place annually on Mother's Day throughout Major League Baseball. Johnny Damon steps in 0 for 2 in yesterday's game. And looks at a pitch just a bit outside from Mitch Talbot for ball 1. Hammered foul just past the first base coach. Damon, who is, starting to show signs of physically slowing down, is still hitting .302 to start out the season. And a swing and a miss, a ball and 2 strikes. In addition to that, he scored 22 runs. That's among the top 10. He's also among the top 10 in doubles. And he's been on base safely 23 out of his last 26 games.
Well, he fits in nicely into that lineup between Jackson and Ordonez. A veteran hitter that has a tendency to get on base, knows everything, and he'll find a way to put the ball in play.
On deck, Maglio Ordonez. And the 2-2 to Damon. Fouls it away.
Talbot this year, when you look at him the way he's pitched, he is very tough on left-handers. Left-handers hitting just 163 off him. He has walked 12 of them, and they have hit 1 home run, where right-handers are hitting 286, and they've homered 4 times.
Full count. Why is that?
I don't know, because he's got such a good changeup and maybe the sink, and he has the left-handers out front. He gave up 3 home runs in his last start. That was his downfall there to the Blue Jays, but they are the #1 homer team in the league.
Johnny Damon draws a walk. And a 1-out base runner now for Maglio Ordonez.
Let's take a look at the Home Depot doing more on defense, Indians defensive lineup. Kearns, Sizemore, and Chu in the outfield. It'll be Marte, Cabrera, Grizzolanic, and Branyan on the infield. Behind the plate will be Lou Marson. And Mitch Talbot getting his second start against these Detroit Tigers this year.
Here's Ordonez now 1 out of 4 in the series. Runner goes on the first pitch, a called strike, throw down, and the ball pops loose, so it wouldn't have mattered. Grizzolanic with the swipe tag had it come loose, and that's the second steal on the year for Johnny Damon. Close play. They might have had him if the ball stays put.
Well, the throw's not bad. I mean, Marson does a nice job of getting rid of that ball quickly. A little bit on the shortstop side. You see where Grizzolanic, if he holds it and brings it back, you're right. They probably could have had him. But it's tough to get that ball and bring that sweep tag around, so it'll go as a stolen base for Damon.
Now the 0-1, and Ordonez checks on a ball down and in. 1-1 the count. Talbot's 1-1 pitch, and it's a little bit tight. 2 balls and a strike. Long look in for the Indians right-hander, who comes set now the 2-1. And it's down low. And these early innings have been an Achilles heel for the Indians on this homestand. In the first 2 innings on this current homestand, the Tribe has been outscored 13-3.
Yeah.
And that's playing uphill a lot.
Well, you remember the first series here at home was against Minnesota. They scored 2 in the first every inning.
Every game.
Of every game.
3-1 pitch. Line toward left center. Look out. This is trouble. It'll plug the gap, go to the wall, and the Tigers strike first as Damon strolls home on the 1-out RBI double by Maglio Ordonez. His 7th two-bagger, his 21st run batted in on the year.
And there's first blood again, just as you mentioned it. And the Tigers are second in the league in doubles. And there's a breaking ball. Again, there's a lot of pitches made by Cleveland pitchers in this series that hit middle of the plate. And they have got to stay out of the middle of the plate because the Tigers have taken advantage of it. They will draw first blood, and they lead at 1-0. Number 21 RBI now for Ordonez.
Now Miguel Cabrera, who jumps back from a pitch inside. Cabrera, 7 home runs, 32 runs batted in. And a gaudy .371 batting average.
Yeah, leading the league. He's average RBIs. He's just a tough guy to get out, and he's been unbelievably tough with runners in scoring position.
Well, yesterday when he faced Kerry Wood, when that bases loaded situation, you pointed it out, Rick, that pitch was inside, and he pulled his hands in against his body almost and still barreled that ball up to the gap.
He looks to go the other way. I mean, in situations, it was a 1-0 pitch, and he's a great hitter in bases loaded situation. He's the best active hitter with bases loaded in the league.
Let's take another look at
watch
yesterday.
The hands come in. I mean, that ball was in off the plate.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you tip your cap. That's a great, great hitter right there.
The mistake Kerry Wood made yesterday was
walking guys to get to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the Indians 30 walks against the Tigers.
Almost had him chasing after that pitch, but the count even now, 2 balls, 2 strikes with a runner at second and 1 out here in the first.
You remember that game in Detroit where they had so many hits, they left like 18 or 19 guys on base that one game, and that's the game that the Indians had the lead in 7-1. And they just had opportunity after opportunity.
Good pitch by Talbot, gets the strikeout, 2 down. Had Cabrera fooled with the change of pace here.
That's exactly what it was. Change up, excellent location. Down out of the zone. You see the bottom falls out of that pitch. And you get a good hitter to chase your pitch. Nicely done.
Umpiring crew today, Eric Cooper calling the balls and strikes. Bill Miller, Chad Fairchild, and the crew chief, Mike Riley, down at third. Mitch Talbot fires. Weak ground ball hit to second. Mark Grudzelanek will throw him out. And the inning is over. But a first inning run for the Tigers has Detroit on top 1-0 as the Indians come to bat. Back here at Progressive Field, bottom of the first inning. And the Indians come to bat. The starting lineup presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive, proud to be the official auto insurance provider of the Cleveland Indians. And Manny Actis starting 9 today has Asdrubal Cabrera back in the lineup, leading things off. Then it's Grady Sizemore and Shin-Soo Choo. Travis Hafner heating up last 3 games, 6 hits, including a home run. Then you've got Austin Kearns and Russell Brandon, followed by Mark Grudzielanek, Andy Marte getting the start at third, and Lou Marson behind the plate batting 9th. Max Scherzer, the right-hander, winds, and the pitch is down low to Asdrubal Cabrera for ball 1. Cabrera out of the lineup the last few days with the strain in the quadricep. And he was in the original starting lineup yesterday, but a late scratch. Really, it was as they made it clear that it was the manager's decision just to keep him out of there.
Well,
with the conditions being less than ideal
exactly.
yesterday.
And the conditions were, I mean, it was whipping, it was windy. And, you know, err on the side of caution.
Yeah.
Here's a guy that, you know, with a quad problem as he goes down on a strikeout.
That's what we talked about in the open. Scherzer can rush it up there. And this is an offensive unit that has struck out a ton already this year.
235 times they have as a team. And Scherzer is 1-2, making start number, you see, 7, but the ERA is up there. He pitches better on the road than he does at home, but his last 2 starts, 8 innings, he's given up a ton of hits. And that coming against 18 hits and 16 runs. That coming against the Minnesota Twins, a nice hitting team.
Fastball strike to Grady Sizemore at 93 miles an hour.
There's Scherzer. I mean, it's a nice easy delivery, but as a hitter, try and make him get that fastball down a little bit in the strike zone. Also has the curveball.
Now the 0-2.
There's the change.
Some wicked movement on that pitch, but well wide of the mark. And a count, a ball and 2 strikes. And the 1-2. High and fouled back.
See, he gets
Sizemore caught up to it somehow.
Yeah, he fouled it off. That's the best you're going to do with that pitch with 2 strikes up there around the letters is foul it off. Awfully tough to get on top of that pitch. That's where you want to make him bring it down. But when you have 2 strikes and it's close, as a hitter, you have a tendency to swing at it.
Now the 1-2 pitch. High fastball again. Sizemore bangs this one up the middle, but Santiago there to throw him out, 2 down.
Let's check out the Tigers' defense. They have made 26 errors on the year. Damon, Jackson, Ordonez in the outfield. On the infield, it'll be Inge, Santiago, Sizemore, Cabrera. Avila is behind the plate. And Max Scherzer making his very first start here at Progressive Field, and he has never faced an Indians hitter before.
Max Scherzer was originally a first-round pick out of the University of Missouri by the Arizona Diamondbacks back in 2006. In fact, a lot of those who scouted him when he was coming out of Missouri felt he was best suited to be a late innings reliever because of that fastball that he has. This ball socked toward left center, and that's going to plug the gap. Cut off by Jackson, but not before Shin-Soo Choo easily in with a 2-out double.
That ball checked up on Jackson over there, and he has a tendency. I thought he was going to hold him to a single. Choo goes inside out on a good fastball down and in and goes the other way. As that ball's going into left center field. Watch it check up and watch how Jackson runs past it. Might have been interesting if he would have caught this ball. You see, you have a tendency to overrun. Maybe the moisture in the grass. I don't know. It had that spin to it, but it just checks up on him. So Choo gets into second base easily.
Definitely took an odd hop. Now Travis Hafner, who has swung a much hotter bat of late. 3 for 4 in the series. Looking to at least tie the game up with a base hit here. Pitch down low for ball 1. Scherzer represented by Scott Boras, and when the Diamondbacks drafted him #1 in 2006, it was not an easy negotiation. He did not sign until just minutes before the deadline for the 2007 June draft.
Well, back then, it's not like it is now, right, where you have a certain time to sign it. You have to sign it before August or something like that in the summer.
Yeah, he went till 1 minute before midnight,
Yeah,
May
figures.
30th, 2007, before signing with a $4.3 million guarantee. And then, of course, this past offseason came to the Tigers in that blockbuster 3-team deal that involved Curtis Granderson going to the Yankees.
Yeah, and Edwin Jackson going out to Arizona. This guy coming from Arizona.
Also, Ian Kennedy was involved in that trade going to Arizona. Max
Austin
Scherzer,
Jackson.
Daniel Schlereth, two pitchers coming to Detroit. Phil Koch also was part of that trade coming to the Tigers.
Well, they like this guy's stuff. He never panned out in Arizona.
Down low and a 4-pitch walk to Hafner. So 2 on with 2 out here in the first, and Austin Kearns will be the batter. Time now for our great clip of the game, brought to you by Great Clips. And yesterday, Austin Kearns bangs one right back up through the middle.
Well, he remains one of the best hitters right now, runners in scorer position for the Indians.
Relax, you're at Great Clips. And now Austin Kearns, again in that RBI situation, with 15 ribbies on the year. You know, when you look at that clip from yesterday, you've got a guy with an overpowering fastball who was dominant for most of the game yesterday, and yet Kearns went up there not trying to do too much, just squaring it up right back through the middle.
Yeah, he got him the at-bat before, you know, where Kearns, he got a hanging breaking ball and he laced one foul. And Verlander got him, but he came back the next at-bat and picked him up and drove in a pair.
Down too low, 2 balls, no strikes. And so more balls than strikes in this first inning for Max Scherzer.
That's what you want to do. Make this guy throw strikes. You can see if he's having a tough time spotting his fastball, and he can't go to his secondary pitches. So the first time through after the 2 outs, Chu doubled. He walked Hafner, who's been swinging a good bat. And now behind 2-0.
And the 2-0 pitch is fouled right back. I think he'd love to have another shot at that one. He had a good cut, but just didn't square it up. Max Scherzer was a strike-throwing machine at the outset. 7 of his first 9 were for strikes. 7 of his last 9 have been for balls. Now the 2-1. And a called strike. Austin Kearns not sure about Eric Cooper's decision there, but the count even up now at 2-2.
Well, take a look at it and see what you think. That ball's low.
Yep.
Absolutely. He should be sitting in a hitter's count 3-1. I mean, we'll see if he's going to be consistent today. That umpire back there. It's all you ask for, but he missed that one.
And on the 2-2 pitch, Chu breaks for third and Kearns strikes out. So Scherzer fans a pair, and the Indians strand 2. 1-0 Detroit after an inning. By Subway, play hard, eat fresh. By Continental Airlines, work hard, fly right. And by your Northern Ohio Toyota dealers. One zip, Tigers on top, second inning here at Progressive Field. Brandon Inge, Alex Avila, and Scott Sizemore to face Mitch Talbot. And Brandon Inge takes a first pitch strike. Brandon Inge 1 for 4 yesterday. The 0-1 from Talbot. Line to center. Second hit today for Detroit. And they have their leadoff man aboard here in inning number 2 with Alex Avila coming to the plate. Today's injury report brought to you by the attorneys at Friedman, Damiano & Smith. When you're injured, depend on them. Find Friedman, Damiano & Smith online at fdslaw.com. Well, you know, Detroit would love to get Carlos Guillen back healthy. But other than that, both teams are relatively injury-free now that the Indians have activated Kerry Wood from the DL.
Well, you get Guillen back, and it gives you that veteran hitter. Right now, some younger players getting some playing time with Detroit, like Brennan Bosch. You know, and then you've got a Ryan Rayburn, who's getting some playing time against the left-handers. Detroit got a little younger in the offseason. They're letting some of their young players get after it.
Inge takes off, and the pitch fouled away by Avila. You can see the Jim Leyland strategy here today with Talbot, a guy who can induce a lot of ground balls. Try to stay out of the double play by moving runners.
Well, and plus you got Avila hitting $178 coming into this game, and Talbot's tough against left-handed hitters. So let's get it going. Let's try and create a hole, try and make something happen. You've got an early lead. Let's try and add on to it.
Talbot's 1-1 pitch. Inge running again, swing and a miss, throw, and they've got him if they can hang on, and Cabrera does.
Yeah, nice pick.
A tough short hop. Cabrera somehow able to hang on, apply the tag, and that's out number 1.
Well, he did it back-to-back. You know, he wanted to be aggressive, so it didn't work this time. Because you know Inge is not a base stealer, so you're just banking that the hitter's going to put the ball in play. It was really a tough pitch to hit for Avila. But a nice pick by Cabrera. Watch the short hop. His gloves got to go up. But it didn't go up too high before he could bring it back down. That was really a nice play by Asdrubal.
Nice to have Cabrera back in there today. Alex Avila now down on the count. A ball and 2 strikes and a strikeout. Second of the day for Talbot. Well, he did a nice job of changing speeds in that at bat.
Did you see his foot hit
Alex
the rubber?
Avila.
It almost like hit the dirt. And I don't know if he does that on purpose or what, but it could be annoying to the hitter.
Scott Sizemore now steps in. 2 down, the bases are empty. And a high pop, right field, routine for Shin-Soo Choo. And the inning is over. So the leadoff hit does no damage, and we'll go to the bottom of the second, 1-0 Detroit. 1-0, bottom of the second inning. And for the Tribe, Russell Branyan, Mark Grudzielanek, and Andy Marte. Branyan 0 for 1 in a single pinch hit appearance yesterday. Max Scherzer delivers up high with a fastball for ball 1. Again, he misses with the heat. 2 balls, no strikes. In addition to that fastball, he's got a slider that he feels is an improving pitch and has really helped his game, and as well as a changeup. Swing and a miss.
Well, you see, there it was. He's got to spot that fastball. That's the key for this guy. If he can't locate it, then everything else comes around. But I think when you get into hitters' counts, you can look for the fastball pretty much.
And this 2-1 delivery. Again, he misses high with the fastball, and he's consistently missed in the same spot.
Opening
up
a little. Well, that means he's maybe opening up a little bit, that front shoulder flying, and he's not driving through. But let's see, 3-1 count here if he goes with the fastball.
And Brandon got a piece of it right back.
That's what you want to see when you've never faced a pitcher before is, how are you going to attack me when I got a hitter's count and I can lay off your good pitches? If he's going to come at you with a fastball, get geared up.
Now the payoff pitch. And it's outside, ball 4. So 2 strikeouts, 2 walks for Scherzer so far here today. Let's join Ryan Pritt out on the plaza, who's caught up with some moms here before the game today.
Thank you very much, Matt and Rick. What we got going on behind us, this is cool this year. It's a miniature progressive field out here on the plaza. You can play home run derby. I'm with Heather and Aiden. They're going to go up there and try it next. Heather, happy Mother's Day, first of all. How cool is it, bringing your son to a game, getting to spend Mother's Day with him?
Oh, it's a blast. He said he wanted to go to the Indians game for Mother's Day, and I said, okay, thank you.
Perfect. And Aiden, what's your favorite thing about your mom? What do you like most?
I like to watch movies with her.
Very cool. Maybe you guys come to the game, have a movie night later on tonight. Heather, happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers out there from all of us here at STL. We wish you all a happy Mother's Day. Now, Matt and Rick, back up to you guys.
All right, thanks, Ryan. Here's Mark Grudzielanek now with a runner at first. In the second inning, Tribe down a run, and he takes a strike to even the count of 1-1.
Looking at the Indians this homestand, it's been a tough homestand in the last 6 games. They have struck out 71 times, or 6 consecutive games with 10 strikeouts, which is a team record, by the way, and they have walked only 23 coming into today's game. So far, struck out twice, walked twice today.
And a strike to Grudzielanek tips the count to a ball and 2 strikes. Grudzielanek 2 for 5 yesterday. And the 1-2. Got away from Avila all the way to the backstop. Branyan down to second. It's called a wild pitch on Avila. Looked like he had leather on it, tried to knock it down.
No. Well, that one gets away. You know what? That could have went either way. That could be a pass ball because it looked like it was catchable. But then again, we're sitting up here, and he's down there a lot closer.
Grudzielanek with a line drive single into right field. Branyan around third, going to get the stop sign there. Ordonez uncorks a perfect throw to the cutoff man Cabrera. Indians at the corners with nobody out. That, the 20th hit in 73 at-bats on the homestand for the Tribe with a runner in scoring position.
Well, good hitting anyway. You get that runner to second base, and there's a good low fastball. And Grudzielanek just trying to do his job, get him over the third base, but he gets the base hit to do it. So it was a nice piece of hitting there by Gruz. So it's first and third, nobody out.
Andy Marte steps in. His first action in the series. hasn't played much at all on this homestand. Played against the Twins in the first segment on this homestand, going 0 for 2 in that game. Here's the 1-0 pitch, and a swing and a miss out in front. Talked about Max Scherzer having a very good slider, and that's one of the few we've seen so far today. He's almost been an exclusive fastball pitcher first time through the lineup.
Yeah. Yes, he has, but that ball was out of the zone. Marte helps him out, but Marte hasn't been getting a whole lot of at-bats recently, so he's got to get up there and get aggressive.
Miss down low. 2 balls and a strike. And 34 pitches into the game, Max Scherzer at the break-even mark. 17 for balls, 17 for strikes. Russell Brandon is at third. Mark Grudzielanek is at first. Nobody out here in the second. Drive down a run. And a strike called to even the count. It's even at 2 apiece here in the early going. And the 2-2 pitch is in the dirt. Good block by Avila. Full count.
Well, this guy here, they're going to make him work hard. If he can't consistently throw that breaking ball for a strike, they can zero in on one pitch. And for me, and it's still early going, he doesn't really have a feel yet. He can sit fastball.
And the payoff pitch is hit high in the air, deep left field. Damon looking up, and it is off the top of the fence, and it caroms past Jackson. Brandon scores the tying run. Grudzielanek on his way home. Indians have the lead. A 2-run triple for Andy Marte. Just missed hitting a 3-run homer as that ball hit high above the built-in out-of-town scoreboard and left, but just below the yellow line. However, on the ricochet, Jackson got too close, and the ball caromed past him, and once that happened, the Indians were able to take the lead.
Well, Andy eliminated doubt here. He got a fastball middle of the plate. I thought that ball was going to be in the seats. It hits very high on the wall, just underneath that yellow line. And Jackson sort of pinned himself up against the wall, and you can see Marte, once he saw the ricochet, cruises into third easily. We'll get a couple of RBIs, so the Indians back on top.
Now Lou Marson takes a strike. They have basically reduced Scherzer to a one-pitch pitcher.
And he's reduced himself to a one-pitch pitcher.
But they, for the most part, have not helped him out.
Well, don't. Force him to throw that changeup and break a ball. You know what? Just sit fastball until he proves that he can throw that breaking ball when he's behind in the count. He's 2 for 9 first pitch strikes.
That's inside. 2 balls and a strike.
Well, he's going to be in, if he can. Minnesota roughed him up in his last 2 starts. And I can see how you're going to get roughed up in this league if you can't, if you're not pitching ahead in the count and throwing off your secondary pitches for strikes.
Marson shoots it out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, and 2-1 count there. I mean, you got to, Lou has seen it. He's got to be ready for that fastball. Get the bat head out. You got a man on third. This is a free at bat. He's looking
at the end of the bat.
Matter of fact, he's looking for his first RBI.
There's a slider from Scherzer.
Well, he got a piece of it. Stays alive.
Andy Marte at third. Nobody out here in the second inning. Tribe on top 2-1. And Marson jam job roller toward third. Inge going to go to first, and it's off the mark. Lou Marston with his first run batted in on the year makes it a 3-1 Indians lead.
I told you it's a free at-bat for him. You got the infield back. They just want their out. Marston gets jammed by the pitch. Ends up getting an infield single and his first RBI this year. It doesn't matter how you get it, just get it. He's jammed, runs a fastball in, and there's nothing that Inge could do. He tried to make a great play. Pulls Cabrera off first base, so the Indians now with 3 in, still nobody out.
3 straight hits. And now as Asdrubal Cabrera struck out his first time up, bangs it foul off of his foot. Somebody's going to have to grab that ball as it rolls down into foul ground. Now the set and the 0-1 to Cabrera. And quickly 0-2 the count. Early in the season, Lou Marston, especially in that first week, hit a number of balls right on the button. But it seemed to find leather every time he hit one, right at a defender. So even though that ball was hit feebly, he won't be embarrassed or ashamed at all.
Never. As a hitter, you take every one you can get.
Runner goes, swing and a miss. And a strikeout. Avila couldn't find the handle to throw down to second. And a stolen base from Marston. That's his second on the year. But now Asdrubal Cabrera 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts to start the game.
Look at that. Fastball right there. And then the transfer. Avila couldn't keep it in the right hand. So Lou gets his second stolen base.
And a runner himself in scoring position with only 1 out.
All right.
And now you've got Grady Sizemore coming up. And Grady with a ground ball to first. Cabrera takes it himself, 2 down. Marston moves over to third. And Shin-Soo Choo will be the batter now. Tonight on STO, join Bruce Drennan for a prime-time edition of All Bets Are Off at 7. Then at 9, golf pro Jimmy Hanlon gets you up to date on the PGA Tour while taking calls and emails. All Bets Are Off and the Golf Zone with Jimmy Hanlon tonight, starting at 7 right here on STO. Shin-Soo Choo, who doubled the left center his first time up, steps in. And a long second inning for Max Scherzer. And a little tapper. Rolling to short, misplayed by Santiago. A run scores 4-0 Cleveland as Choo has his 19th run batted in on the year. 2 RBI infield singles for the Indians here in the second inning.
Well, that is amazing, isn't it? I mean, off the end of the bat, it must have been a changeup for Choo. That's exactly what it was. Off the end, and the only play for Santiago is I got a barehanded. You know, well, Choo gets down the line. He doesn't come up with it cleanly. Marston scores. It's a 4-run second inning by the Tribe.
So a crooked number, and the 8th man to bat in the inning is Travis Hafner, who walked his first time up. This will be the 30th, well, already 30 pitches this inning for Max Scherzer. A lob throw over to first.
Indians today have their hitting shoes on. 4 for 6 with runners in scoring position early. Even though a couple of them might be infield hits.
0-2 the count on Hafner. Well, we talked about the fact that early in games, The Indians have been playing from behind, but today, thanks in part to this 4-run second, they've got the early lead, 4-1.
Detroit's been a team notoriously this year through the first 3 innings of, they've been outscored. They've been playing a lot of catch up themselves. From the 4th inning on, they have outscored every team in every inning, and they get even better from the 7th inning on.
They've outscored the opposition 47-22 from the 7th inning on.
Yeah, so I mean, here's 2 teams that have to play catch-up baseball, but Detroit much better at it because their bullpen settles in. They have the best bullpen in the league, and their starters are the worst in the league.
The 0-2 to Hafner, little tapper foul.
I guess everyone's seeing that, everybody can get an infield hit. Why not try?
Well, Travis Hafner, it seems like, Rick, ever since Manny Acta talked to him about thinking about who you are as a hitter,
which was on this homestand, start of this homestand,
his approach has been a little more even-handed as opposed to trying to just pull everything with power.
We drove in the first run yesterday between short and third. And Hafner had 3 hits yesterday. So, yeah, he's swinging the bat much better.
More line drives up the middle and the other way.
Exactly. And that's what Travis is all about. This guy's so big and strong, it'll come. Home runs will come.
Chu takes off on the 0-2 pitch, and Hafner lines it the other way for a base hit. And Chu will easily go to third. So Travis Hafner continues his hot hitting. And the Indians have batted around here in the first and lead it, in the second and lead it 4-1.
Watch this ball, it jams him, but that's okay. As a hitter, most hitters, they don't want to get jammed, but there's nothing wrong with it. Look at this guy, just fights it off, goes to left field, 2 outs. That's a nice approach. Get 2 outs, keep that train moving, baby. You're first and third, 2 outs. Move to the next guy. Now you got one of your better hitters, Kearns. I'd mentioned they're 4 for 6 with runners in scoring position. They're 5 for 8 with runners on base.
Austin Kearns struck out to end the first inning. Looking to do some damage here in inning number 2. So, Chu, the runner at third, Hafner at first, with 2 down, and Austin Kearns. The 54th pitch of the day already for Scherzer is fouled out of play.
About half reaching base his last 5 plate appearances.
He's definitely starting to find it. The 0-1. Kearns back to the mound. Scherzer gets himself out of the jam, but not before the Indians strike for 4 runs to take a 4-1 lead through 2 innings of play. And Andy Marte with a 2-run triple highlights the outburst. Welcome back, and we want to remind you to stay tuned later in the game to see what our Miller Taste Greatness moment will be. You got the new Vortex bottles. Have you seen those?
I have not.
Apparently the beer comes out a little faster than normal.
That's good for you because, as a matter of fact, we got to wish you a birthday because tomorrow is your birthday, my friend. So happy birthday, even though we're not going to be on the air. And I know you celebrate it for the rest of the month, so I'm just warning you people at home, be ready for the celebration.
Thank you. One hopper to second. Mark Grudzelanek throws out Ramon Santiago for out number one here in the third.
Well, not too late to become a Tribe season ticket holder. Prorated season ticket plans now on sale include all season ticket holder benefits, exchange dates, price discounts, and exclusive events. You can also spread out your payments through the end of July. 216-420-HITS or visit Indians.com for all the information.
Austin Jackson popped up on the infield. First time up. Takes a strike. No balls, 2 strikes. And Talbot lets it fly. And a breaking ball fought off by Jackson. Wouldn't chase the high fastball. And the count 1-2. Line drive, base hit in the left field. And Austin Jackson with his 3rd hit in the series. 1 out base runner for Johnny Damon before he steps in. Let's step out. Send it over to the plaza. Here's Ryan Pritt.
Thanks again, Matt and Rick, out here on Gateway Plaza. We are celebrating Mother's Day with Kristen from Avon Lake. Kristen, first of all, happy Mother's Day. We're glad you're out here. Let's see who the little ones are here with you.
Katie.
How about you?
Sam.
Katie and Sam, very beautiful children you have here. Now, how cool is it for Mother's Day? You guys get to come out, all kinds of fun stuff to do here at the ballpark, huh?
It's great. They were loving the batting cages, and they saw Jungle Terry already and hung out with the snakes, and we're excited for the game.
Very cool. We got some wild animals behind us. There's a snake slithering way too close to my feet for comfort. So, guys, before he gets a little closer, we'll send it back upstairs to you.
Watch out, Ryan. Look out. That snake is out there. May get you.
Is that a man-eater?
I don't know. I don't know if it's a boa or what. Anaconda.
The 1-0 pitch to Johnny Damon is down low. 2 balls and no strikes. Damon walked, stole a base, and scored the Tigers' only run so far back in the first. And here he is again with a 2-0 count. 40 pitches so far on the day now for Mitch Talbot. Thinking back to that first start that Mitch Talbot had against Detroit, managers get labeled based on how they use their bullpen by either having a slow hook or a quick hook. And on that day, it appeared that Manny Acta had a slow hook, but in retrospect, when you look back on what he was doing,
he handled it beautifully.
He's done that really with all of his starters. He and Tim Belcher together. I think you have to include Belcher in the equation. And that is they're trying to push these guys to allow them to get deeper in the games where in maybe under other circumstances they might get that quick hook.
Well, you've got to. They're young starters. You've got to see what they're made of. They're going to get themselves into trouble a lot of times, and you're going to have to see if they can get themselves out of it at certain points in time. You cannot continue to go to your bullpen all year long, especially early in the year, just because they've given up maybe 4 or 5 runs in the first 2 innings.
Talbot gets the sure out at first. Jackson in the scoring position with 2 down. Magaliu Ordonez will be the hitter.
Send along a couple other birthday wishes. We want to send our special wishes to Ed Roach of Wesley Chapel, Florida, turning 74. Of course, that's Mike's dad. So, Ed, happy birthday to you. And George Watkins of Kent, turning 88. George, happy birthday to you.
A Mother's Day birthday for Dad.
Yes, indeed.
Magaliu Ordonez, an RBI double in the first. Pretty good pitch, called a ball. Talbot taking his time, and Marson and Talbot unable to get on the same page. And a good pitch again, called a ball. Well, I don't know. That looked like an awfully good pitch. But it's 2-0 now to Magaliu Ordonez. The 2-0 pitch is low, 3 balls and no strikes. Austin Jackson, the runner at second base, already has 6 stolen bases this year. But a lot of scouts don't look at Jackson as a stolen base threat as much as he is a good base runner. Once he gets to top speed, he can really fly. And a 4-pitch walk. He really got squeezed on a couple of those pitches, though. And so 2 on with 2 out for Miguel Cabrera. And Miguel Cabrera struck out his first time up on a terrific changeup from Mitch Talbot.
Now, normally you don't want to walk anybody to get to this guy.
Well, I don't think that was his intention as much as
I
he
know
wasn't
he
getting any calls.
That's exactly right. He made good pitches, not called.
Talbot ready now. And with 2 aboard and 2 out, he steps away.
Well, Cabrera 1 for 4 in this series with runners in scoring position. But then again, the first game, Friday, didn't count. When the first inning, when he hit that 2-run homer, that was a no count, rain out.
They never do. The pitch. And it's in there for a strike. The 0-1 line to right, base hit. Coming around third, Austin Jackson will try to score. Chu's throw to the plate is a little bit up the line, and Jackson scores. It's a 4-2 ball game. Chu gave it a good effort, but his throw is just a tick too far up the line, and Marson was unable to grab it and then swing around to make the tag in time.
Another great job of hitting. They wanted that fast. See how that sinker away, but it came middle of the plate, and this guy just consciously, look at that head. Just stays right down, goes the other way, hits it right on the nose, and Chu trying to make that throw was about 5 feet up the line. If it was back a little bit, you had a chance. Now Jackson can run a little bit, so 2 out, RBI single, makes it a 4-2 ball game.
And runners at first and second with 2 down for Brennan Bosch, who grounded to second his first time up. Pops it up. Third base, Andy Marte, foul territory, inning over. Tigers get one back. We'll go to the bottom of the third, 4-2 Cleveland.
Mother's Day. I love you. Have a good Mother's Day. Goodbye.
Young Caden Shapiro sending out Happy Mother's Day wishes as the Indians lead it 4-2, bottom of the third inning. Caden, of course, the son of Mark Shapiro, Indians general manager. Mom Lissa probably back home watching. Here's the 0-1 pitch now to Russell Branyan. Fouled out of play. Branyan walked and scored the first of 4 Indians runs in the second inning. Now, Max Scherzer got into a real mess in that second inning when the Indians batted around. He wound up making 35 pitches in the inning, but the last 15 he threw were all strikes. So we'll see if that carries over here at the end of the third.
And you know what happened? He started to get a feel for that changeup, but it took him all inning to do it.
And the 1-2 to Branyan is swung on and missed. Fourth strikeout now for Max Scherzer, one down in the third. Time now for our Subway Fresh Face of the Game. Jason Kipnis batting .361 over his last 10 games. Subway Fresh Face of the Game. Subway, play hard, eat fresh. Mark Grudzielanek had an opposite field single, and he also scored a run in that second inning. And a breaking ball in there for a strike, and as you said, maybe starting to find it with that slider a little bit and the changeup. Fastball hit well, right field, but not going anywhere as Ordonez backpedaled to make the catch, 2 down.
Well, calling all teachers, you can join us May 20th and 26th for the annual WKYC Weather Education Days. That's presented by Time Warner Cable. Tickets include access to the pregame educational programs and also the game. Groups of 25 or more save 50%. 216-420-HITS is the number to call.
2 down, and Andy Marte, who had a 2-run triple in his last at bat, steps in, almost got plunked. Backs away quickly. And there's that slider again for a strike. You see that a lot of times with especially veteran catchers, if they know a guy doesn't have his fastball command early, they'll go to the secondary pitches in the hopes that by slowing things down, mechanically they start to catch up again.
Well, and we witnessed that his fastball was up and away. So to me, that just says he's opening up maybe a little too quickly and he's not following through it, driving. So you may want to slow him down a little bit and give that arm a chance to catch up.
2 balls and 2 strikes as Jim Leyland has watched Scherzer come out here and throw strikes in inning number 3. And Marte fouls it off past third base coach Steve Smith. Last game of the homestand for the Indians, off day tomorrow, and then they hit the road. Off to Kansas City, Baltimore, and Tampa. 2-2. Low, and the count goes full. The payoff pitch is outside, and a good at bat once again for Andy Marte, who hasn't played much on this homestand, as we pointed out, but drove in a pair with a triple in the second and now a walk here in the third. 2 down for Lou Marson, who picked up an RBI and an infield single and later scored in inning number 2. '70th pitch of the day for Max Scherzer, and it's a fastball strike. A lob toss over to first by Scherzer. Marte without a steal, the runner at first.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why they're really throwing over. You just hold the ball with Marte. You know, no need to throw over for him. He shouldn't be running in any situation.
The 0-1 is a little bit low, a ball and a strike. Down too low, 2 balls and a strike. So Scherzer, who was breezing along after getting the first 2 outs here in the third, the walk to Marte, and now he's fallen behind Lou Marson 2-1.
Maybe that's the key. You get him in the stretch.
That certainly worked to their advantage last inning.
Yes, it did. They got that leadoff man aboard on the walk, and
bouncer to short. Ramon Santiago throws out Marson. And we've played 3 innings in Cleveland with the Tribe on top 4-2. 4-2, Tribe on top, fourth inning. Here at Progressive Field, Brendan Inge, Alex Avila, and Scott Sizemore. The bat for Detroit, Mitch Talbot. This will be his 50th pitch of the ballgame coming up right here. And 9 of his 15 first pitches have been for strikes. Brandon Inge had a single to center in the second inning. Missed down low, 1 ball, 1 strike. Inge, when he singled in the second, was eventually thrown out trying to steal. On what appeared to be, more than anything, a start the runner and hope you create a hole for the hitter, but Alex Avila swung and missed at the pitch. Marson made a good throw. Cabrera made a better catch and tag. This time, Cabrera will have an easy play on the pop-up, 1 down. And now we will bring to the plate Alex Avila. Struck out in his last at bat. 0 for 6 now in the series.
Well, yeah, he's struggling to get going. 8 hits and 46 at bats this year. 2 home runs and just 2 RBIs, so a couple of solo shots.
Meanwhile, his counterpart has not fared much better.
Right. They're not getting much production from the catching position. You're absolutely right.
Gerald Laird hitting 141, and he's 0 for his last 13. 1-0 pitch. Checked on a ball that's a called strike. And the 1-1. Missed in off the plate. Talbot with a 2-1, and Avila slices it out of play. Four runs, 6 hits for the Indians, 2 runs, 4 hits for Detroit. And strike 3 called. Avila out looking. Third strikeout for Mitch Talbot, 2 down here in the fourth.
Second time he's been able to fan Avila. That one a good fastball. Dots the eye on the outside corner. Breaks out a little paintbrush and hits it right on the black. First time was a changeup. Second time a fastball.
Scott Sizemore, fly to right his first time up, steps in. And the pitch is outside for ball 1. Now the 1-0. And a swing and a miss. He pulled the string nicely. .60 pitches on the day for Mitch Talbot, trying to set him down 1-2-3.
Sizemore had the big hit in yesterday's game. Bases loaded, clearing double off Justin Masterson, who left the fastball up over the plate. He drove into left center field.
The 1-2. Just missed with that 2-2. Just did get a piece of that 2-2 pitch. And Talbot lets it go. And a good off-speed pitch gets him. 4th strikeout for Mitch Talbot. He fans a pair here in the 4th, and the Tigers go 1-2-3 for the first time today.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom. I love you. You're the best.
4-2, Indians on top. Bottom of the 4th here at Progressive Field. Top of the order for the Tribe is Drupal Cabrera. 2 strikeouts on the day, leading off, and looks at ball 1.
Well, now 9 of 19 first pitch strikes for Scherzer. And 7 Indians have had at least 5 or more pitches.
His 75th toss of the day is a big bouncer into the glove of Miguel Cabrera. 1 down. Once again, let's go out onto the plaza. Here's Ryan Pritt.
Thank you very much, Matt and Rick. It is KeyBank Kids Fun Day here at the ballpark. We are outside the ballpark on Gateway Plaza. I'm with Slider, and we have a whole lot of fun stuff going on today. We're out here going to check it all out, talk to some moms about Mother's Day, see what some kids are doing out here. There's batting cages, speed pitch machines, even inflatable slides. Slider, you want to go down this one with me here? All right, let's go, pal. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Ryan. Here's Grady Sizemore looking at a ball inside. Grady, a couple of ground ball outs in his first 2 trips to the plate, 0 for 5 now in the series. We've got a whole new setup out on the plaza now for Kids Fun Day this year. Looks very interactive and very entertaining. I like they've got a whole setup. Kind of gives kids a sense of history of the Cleveland Indians, right, which is always nice.
And you know what's nice? It goes on now to the 5th inning. So, you know, there's still time out there. The kids go out there, have fun, and when you're done, you can come into the ball game. But also, if you get here late, you can stay out there and do it. Something new this year.
4-2, Indians on top here, 4th inning. Grady Sizemore swung on and missed, and the count even at 2-2. Well, Rick was just talking about the Kids Fun Day area.
Look at, they got some batting practice going on, hitting off the tees.
Full count. We have any scouts out there?
I think they make their way in by first pitch.
You're always looking for that diamond in the rough. You never know when you might find them. Payoff pitch. Off the end of the bat. Dying softly in center field, and Grady Sizemore has a 1-out single. His first hit today, 7th hit for the Indians.
That's the old big swing right there, and off the end of the bat. That's like hitting a changeup. Watch your big swing as an outfielder. You say, man, he hit that ball, but it went right off the end of the bat. So you hit a changeup every once in a while, and they fall in as well. That one does. That's hit number 7 for the Tribe.
Well, Shin-Soo Choo already 2 for 2 with a single, a double, and a run batted in. Choo now 3 for 4 in the series.
Choo also a very good batting average at home. Coming into today before that 2 for 2, he's 378.
There's a high drive, deep left center. Austin Jackson, the center fielder, under it, and that's out number 2. I think the wind definitely knocked that ball down.
You know, it's hard to tell at times what that wind is going to do, but in the last couple of days it swirls, and it has been knocking balls down to the outfield and both ways, the left and right. Well, Dinner on the Diamond returns to Progressive Field Saturday, June 26th. The evening includes hors d'oeuvres and a gourmet dinner served on the warning track. Plus, you'll watch the Indians-Reds game on the Giants scoreboard. Play catch on the field. Take batting practice in the Tribe's indoor cages. 216-420-HITS.
Here's Travis Hafner, a walk and a single in his first 2 trips to the plate today. Looks at ball 1. A weak toss over to first. Grady Sizemore back with a dive. Grady with a pair of steals so far this year. Adam leaning a little bit. Wouldn't think you'd see Sizemore running early in the count with 2 down and Hafner at the plate.
Well, Scherzer's a guy that has a high leg kick. He's a little slow to the plate. You got the count, give Hafner a swing and let him go. Grady can score on a gapper anyway. You give him that hole between first and second. Counts in his favor now, so you let him get selective. He's pitched Hafner like he doesn't want much to do with him today.
Well, now the 2-0 pitch coming up right here. And another lob toss over to first. Scherzer's one of those guys, he has quick feet, but when he gets squared to throw to first, the ball just sort of parachutes out of his hand.
Yeah, he doesn't throw it hard unless, he's trying to lull you to sleep, and then all of a sudden one time he will throw it hard over there.
Unlike Justin Verlander, who can throw some rockets over to first base. Yesterday, there was a play where he threw a ball over to first base that Miguel Cabrera was trying to get him to not throw it over there on a little comebacker to the mound that he knocked down. Cabrera wasn't even on the bag at the time when he threw it. Now the 3-0 pitch. And it is called a strike. Hafner can't believe it.
Well, he wants to stay up there and hit, man. Go ahead, stay up there and hit. Wait for one, keyhole it, and get something you like and drive it. Change up.
Runner going and a weak ground ball hit to second. And the inning is over. 4 complete from Progressive Field. It's the Indians 4 and the Tigers 2. Baseball is brought to you by McCafe Frappes. Caramel or mocha blended with a hint of coffee and ice. McDonald's, I'm loving it. By KeyBank. Stop in and start a conversation and unlock your possibilities. And by Panini's. Visit paninisgrill.com for a list of new locations. Ramon Santiago grounded to second base his first time up. Looks at a ball up high. 4-2, Indians lead it, fifth inning.
Tell you what, the Seagulls, man, they're looking for food out on the field today. There's a ton of them circling the field.
Two balls, no strikes, the count on Santiago. Two and one the count as our feathered friends have invaded the ball yard. Up high, 3 balls and a strike. Austin Jackson waits on deck. This scoreboard update brought to you by Wendy's. You know when it's real, Wendy's. Now the 3-1. And a strike called, full count. Mitch Talbot's payoff pitch. And a weak tapper hit toward second baseman Mark Grudzelanek. One down.
I tell you, he must have a really deceptive changeup because we've seen some feeble swings on that pitch from both lefties and righties.
Guy's really fooled badly by it today. That brings up Austin Jackson, who singled and scored in his last at bat.
Slides off of that the ring finger of his right hand, and his baby finger really got good downward action to it. That circle change. It was a good shot there of the grip.
Fastball outside for ball one. You know, I was joking earlier, Rick, when I said you think there are any scouts out there at Kids Funland. But when you talk about Austin Jackson, this kid was scouted as far back as the age of 12. 12. Isn't that amazing when you think about
yes, it is.
Being
at
scouted?
that age. I mean, that you're just finishing up Little League, aren't you? You're at your last year of Little League.
Story I have here has Mark Batchko, a scout for the Yankees, filing his first report on Austin Jackson when he was just 12 years old.
Boy, oh boy. So that's like a bird dog for somebody, right?
For the
Just
Yankees,
go out and you see this kid playing at 12 years old.
Another one of the many multi-sport athletes who eventually make their way to baseball. He could have gone to Georgia Tech and stepped right into the starting lineup there.
That's amazing now, because now it seems like kids are getting away from that because coaches in football want you to dedicate yourself just to football now for the whole year. Basketball, they want you to do that, and I think it takes away from an athlete. This kid is going to be a good player. Another multi-hit game. That's number 16 for him. This kid seems to find a way, even though he strikes out a lot now. Boy, when he can cut those strikeouts down, that hit total is going to continue to rise. Man, he's just a youngster.
Well, Jackson could have been a terrific basketball player at Georgia Tech, but the Yankees coughed up the money, and that led him to starting his baseball career, and it certainly has the makings of a terrific career. And again, this is our first look at Austin Jackson. And it appears as though the Tigers made a pretty good deal, though. I mean, Curtis Granderson, no question about what he has done. His track record, phenomenal.
That could be a win-win trade for both teams, because you know how the Yankees are. They like those veterans. He's going to go over there even though he's hurt now. He'll help that team. It's a good hitting ballpark for him.
Swung on and missed. I mean, if Jackson pans out the way he's swung the bat here in the early going, even if the pitchers that they received in the deal from Arizona don't pan out, it's still going to be a pretty good trade. But if Scherzer and Schlereth both pan out, then it will have been a dynamite trade for Detroit.
And that's where you have to wait. And on trades,
Sure.
you've got to wait 3, 4, 5 years down the road before you can really sit down and judge them. Everybody tries to judge them right out of the chute, after they're just made. You got to see what happens. Some of these kids that are traded are in minor league baseball. But this kid's paying dividends early. Right there at the league lead with hitting with Cabrera, his teammate.
Yeah, let's remember as Marson goes out to talk with Talbot, who looked like he slipped with his plant foot. Let's remember that when the Indians made the Bartolo Colon trade several years ago, that was panned initially as just an awful trade. You traded a guy.
Well, Colon went out and won the Cy Young.
And you got, Grady, who's this Grady Sizemore guy in Double-A? And
Cliff Lee, Brandon Phillips.
Eventually, that turned out to be a dynamite trade.
Well, if they could have kept Brandon Phillips, it would have been an outstanding trade. It was the one guy. That's the first guy that made it to the big leagues. He was the number one guy they thought in the deal. So he was sort of rushed to the big leagues back when the Indians were a little shaky back then. And he's shining now for the Cincinnati Reds. Saw yesterday he made a web gem on TV.
3-1 pitch, and Damon tried to bang it inside the bag at third, but just wide of the mark, full count. One on, one out, fifth inning. Detroit down 4-2. They've got the tying run at the plate, though, in the form of Johnny Damon, with Maglio Ordonez waiting on deck. 80 pitches so far for Mitch Talbot, but a big one coming right here to Damon. Runner goes, and it's ball 4. So now he's got 2 on with only 1 out. And Ordonez to the plate with Miguel Cabrera to follow. And with that, let's check out our GMC 5-star league leaders. And when you take a look at Miguel Cabrera in the on-deck circle, with runners in scoring position, he's batting a healthy .500 so far this year.
Look at that second guy.
I know, I was just thinking.
That's
Elvis
a surprise.
Andrus.
Yeah, I mean, when we saw him earlier here, he was swinging the bat very well. But, and Scott Posednik, those are 2 unlikely candidates.
Ordonez socks one to left. This will go all the way to the wall. Jackson scores. Damon into third will be held there. An RBI double for Maglio Ordonez. He's driven in 2 of the Tigers' 3 runs today. He now has 22 runs batted in on the season and 8 doubles for Detroit.
Well, you better walk this next guy. And I mean, Ordonez, Mags, he smokes that first pitch. He doesn't wait, does he? Let's see, 92-mile-an-hour fastball. He's waiting for it. He turns on it, hits his second double of the game, drives in his second run, and his 22nd on the season. By the time Kearns can get it, Jackson scores, Damon to third, Ordonez into second, and now you got to face Cabrera, which I would have to think you got to walk him here. Set up a double play.
While we have a moment, let's go back to the studios for this in-game update. Here's Al Pulaski.
All right, Matt, Rick, let's go to Chicago Blue Jays White Sox here, top of the second inning. Jose Bautista with the runner on third and 2 outs. Yeah, got that one to drop. It's a double. It'll score Wells, and Toronto takes a 1-0 lead. Bottom of the second now in Chi-Town.
Here the Indians have a 1-run lead, but Detroit threatening runners second and third, only 1 out. And they will intentionally walk Miguel Cabrera to load the bases.
Yeah, you have to do this.
And then they'll have to attack Brennan Bosch, the DH.
We just showed you that stat, 500 with runners in scoring position. He drove in the second run for him in his last at-bat. Even though it's a left-hander, Talbot better against left-handers and right-handers with his changeup. So you go for the double play, and you can see where Bosch was over there talking to their hitting coach, Lloyd McClendon, about what he wants him to sit on. And it may be something off speed or that changeup if a young hitter can do that. So that's 4 walks now for Talbot on the afternoon.
And now you've got Brennan Bosch, the DH for Detroit, 0 for 2 today. Well, here's a young man, 6'6", native of Southern California. Swung on and missed way out in front.
Yeah, he's geared for that heater, and he's not going to see a heater. Left-handers today 0 for 7 off Talbot.
Now the 0-1. Hit high and foul out of play. Quickly, 0-2 the count.
Has a chance to go for the punch out here.
And the 0-2 pitch. Just did get a piece of it to stay alive.
Yeah, this kid should not see a fastball anywhere close for a strike. He's going to attack him with the good changeup. Maybe just show him a fastball. Just show it to him.
Working out of the lineup with the bases loaded. Time call.
Yeah, it's been the top 3 hitters that have hurt him today. There was the fastball.
Brendan Bosch was a guy who, coming out of high school, was a highly touted power hitter. In his first full 3 professional seasons, he hit 22 home runs. And then last year at Double-A Erie, hit 28. So for whatever reason, last year it all started to click for him. The 0-2 off the end of the bat, in the air center field. Sizemore will make the catch, tagging at third. Johnny Damon's coming home, and the throw is cut off, and we are tied at 4. Bosch with his 11th run batted in on the year on the sac fly. And we've got a new ball game.
Well, give him credit. The kid came back and got his job done. Down in the count 0-2, drives in the tying run on a sacrifice fly. That's only the 6th sac fly by the Tigers this year.
Indians bullpen about to get busy with 2 on and 2 out. And Brandon Inge, 1 for 2, will be the batter. Talbot misses outside for ball 1. Aaron Laffey loosening for the Tribe. Talbot having a rough go of it here in the 5th. And he gets a strike over to Inge. Inge, the 7th Tiger to bat here in the 5th inning. A long look in. Now the right-hander ready. And Inge asks for time. The 1-1. And a ball and 2 strikes the count as Marson goes out to talk. Might have been crossed up. Take another look at this. It looked awkward.
Well, they've been taking it. Yeah, oh my goodness. He's looking for the fastball. He got a hook. They've been taking a long time to get on the same page. So, I mean, it's usually not that difficult. When the catcher comes out and the pitcher has his set of signs to, get settled, even with a man on second base, whether it's second sign, third sign, first sign indicator, it's not that difficult.
95th pitch of the day for Talbot. And Brandon Inge fights it off to stay alive. And a 31-pitch inning thus far for the Indians right-hander.
Well, the top part of the lineup has done the damage. Between Jackson and Damon, they have scored all 4 runs.
Fisted foul, back out of play. Again, Talbot, before he comes set, steps away. There's the 1-2. And a tapper foul wide of the mark. Brandon Inge in a spot here where he can deliver the lead for Detroit with a base hit. And a ground ball to first. Brandon will go himself, and the inning is over. But 2 for the Tigers, and we are back to even at 4 apiece, middle of the 5th.
Kids wearing them today, keeping your feet warm.
Austin Kearns leads off the home half of the 5th and looks at ball 1 from Max Scherzer. Mitch Talbot, a rough go of it. He had a 4-1 lead after the 2nd inning today, but the Tigers have rallied back to tie it.
And he's probably, I think, done. I mean, he's right around that 100-pitch mark. I don't know if Manny will send him back out there to start the 6th inning, although they are down at the 7, 8, 9 part of the lineup.
Austin Kearns smacks one to short. Santiago in the dirt with the throw. Cabrera had to come off the bag, and so Kearns is safe at first.
Well, Bill Miller down there at first base kept his eye on it, and Cabrera didn't have much to say. He did try and cheat over there. And Santiago made a nice pick, but the throw was low. Just watch his front foot. He came off a little early. It's a nice pick. Low throw. Watch the foot. Oh, yeah, he was off the bag anyway. He was cheating to begin with. See, that toe was never on the base. That's a good call. And that was, yeah, and you could see as running down the line, Austin Kearns says, hey, he wasn't on the base. And you know what? Bill Miller saw it.
Branyan with a bunt. By the mound, backhanded by Scherzer in time. They gave Kearns a single. And so Branyan looked like he was trying to surprise the Tigers' defense, but it works to get the go-ahead run in the scoring position.
Well, I'm sure they'll give him a sacrifice, too, although he was bunting for a base hit. And if he gets that down, Scherzer makes a nice play, man, just to get Branyan before he hits first base. That was a good play.
By an eyelash, he got him. Mark Grudzielanek, 1 out of 2 with a single and a run scored. Fastball up high. And Grudzielanek delivers with an RBI single in a right center field, and the Indians go back on top. Mark Grudzielanek with his 2nd hit of the day. His 6th run batted in on the season. 5-4, Indians on top.
Mark Grudzielanek swinging a very good bat right now. He got a high fastball. He's going to be our McDonald's omelet. That's a very tough pitch to get on top of, but Grudzielanek does that. And, you know, didn't pop it up, hit a line drive to right center field. So he will break the tie, and they come back and answer that 2-run top of the 5th with an RBI single by Grudzielanek. Scoring Kearns, it's a 5-4 Indians lead.
Andy Marte drove in a pair with that triple high off the wall and left in the 2nd inning. Walked his last time up. Now, Max Scherzer, like Mitch Talbot, closing in on 100 pitches, and it does appear that Talbot's day is over as Aaron Laffey continues to warm in the Indians bullpen, and now Fute Ni you see loosening in the Tiger pen. The 1-1 pitch backs him away. The 2-1. And that'll even the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. With 1 on and 1 out here in the 5th, and the Indians back on top now, 5-4. Runner goes, and the pitch is up in tight. And not in time is Grudzielanek with his first stolen base of the year.
Yeah, when you catch Scherzer, when he goes to that full leg kick, he's about 1.5, maybe 1.6 to home plate. And you can tell Manny Acta and Sandy Alomar over there, they've started. Marson stolen a base, and now Gruzelanek. Two guys you would never think. But he gets in there, the quick pop-up slide. There he is, safe.
So a runner in scoring position with 1 out. And the 100th pitch of the day for Max Scherzer is popped up and playable. Cabrera, 2 down. So on a 3-2 pitch, Marte fouls out, and Lou Marson, the number 9 hitter, will be the batter. Tigers scored in the first to stake themselves to the early 1-0 lead, but the Indians came back with a 4 spot in the second. Tigers chipped away, tied it up in the 5th. And then here in the bottom half of inning number 5, the Indians reclaim the lead. And now Lou Marson trying to add to that Indians advantage. Picked up his first RBI on the year with an infield single that drove in a run in the second inning. The 0-1 in the dirt, and a good stop by Alex Avila. All season long, the Indians have been a good 2-out hitting team, batting .308 on this homestand with 2 outs. With less than 2 out on the homestand, they're hitting just .243. Scherzer ready with a 2-1 pitch, and a fastball fouled away. Scherzer facing what you have to believe will be his final hitter today. And on the 2-2, Marson hits it in the air to center. Austin Jackson will make the catch, and the inning is over. But Mark Gruzelanek has broken the tie with an RBI single here in the 5th, and the Indians are in front 5. Deep discount of the game is Ready Whip Whip Toppings. Buy 2 for $3.98 at any Northeast Ohio Mark's location.
So head into your nearest Marks, where you'll find a huge selection and low prices every day.
While we were gone, Manny Acton made the AT&T call to the bullpen, bringing in Aaron Laffey. Laffey will be working for the Indians now for the 13th time this year. No wins or losses, ERA of 3. In 15 innings, he's walked 5, struck out 5. Your call to the bullpen brought to you by AT&T, a better 3G experience.
Well, and Mitch Talbot with an opportunity for a win here because they got that run there in the bottom half of the inning. So we'll see if the bullpen can hold on to that. They've got 4 innings to go.
Bottom third of the order, Alex Avila, Scott Sizemore, Ramon Santiago. Combined, those 3 hitters 0 for 6 today. And there's a high pop foul in the seats.
Yeah, that was the easy part of the lineup for Mitch. Today was 7, 8, 9. It's the top part of the lineup that has done all the damage. Tigers with 6 hits and 4 runs. Indians with 9 hits and 5 runs.
No balls, 2 strikes. Alex Avila 0 for 7 in the series. Laffey's 0-2 pitch. And again, it shoots it foul, does Avila. Up and in with that pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And a little bit outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes, able to hold up. Alex Avila, former 5th-round pick of the Tigers out of the University of Alabama. Coming up through the minor leagues, hitting against left-handed pitching had always been a problem for him. Fell behind here against Aaron Laffey, 0-2, but he's battled his way back to a full count. And a ground ball hit to second. Grudzielanek throws him out, 1 down. This recap brought to you by your Northern Ohio Toyota dealers. For a dealer near you, visit buyatoyota.com. Andy Marte with a 2-run triple helped stake the Indians to a 4-1 lead. But the Tigers would battle back, and Maglio Ordonez with an RBI double helped get the Tigers back to even at 4 apiece. But then Mark Grudzielanek put the Indians back in front in the bottom of the 5th. With an RBI single to make it 5-4 Tribe. Scott Sizemore 0 for 2. Fly to right, struck out. And a first. A 1-1 count now on Scott Sizemore. Big for Aaron Laffey to come back and get Avila after he had him down on the count, let him get it back to full. The whole complexion of an inning can change. You end up walking that leadoff guy or something happens.
Especially when Detroit, they're much better later in the game when we get to that 7th inning, and you always want to keep that leadoff man off. It takes him from doing a lot of different things.
Marte with a nice backhanded stop, throws him out, 2 away. Back we go to the studios for this in-game update. Here's Al.
All right, Matt, let's go to Target Field now. Baltimore taking on the Twins. Bottom of the third inning, scoreless. Couple aboard for Denard Span. Plugs the gap there and will get a triple. That scores 2. Twins would add another in the third. They're up 3-0. It's now the fourth inning in Minnesota.
All right, thanks, Al. 5-4, Indians up here. Ramon Santiago 0 for 2. And a chopper foul. Now the 0-1. Shoots it foul over toward Tom Brookins, the Tigers' first base coach. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 down here in the 6th, and the Indians up by a run, 5-4. Out of play. Mitch Talbot stands to be the winner if the Indians' bullpen can make it stand up. But a long way to go. Laffey's 0-2 pitch. And another foul ball by Santiago. Mitch Talbot sitting next to a guy who doesn't know anything about good fortune or
still looking for that first win, isn't he? Yeah.
The 0-2. Just missed. And Santiago keeps the at-bat alive.
It's a good 0-2 pitch.
Tough to lay off.
Yeah, but he's been swinging at everything. Believe me, if he thinks he could have reached it, he would have swung at it.
Now when hit Laffey, and it's going to be an infield hit as it rolls to the outfield grass. And a 2-out single for Ramon Santiago. Laffey, who's excellent at fielding his position. That ball just got on him in a hurry.
You know, Santiago in the protect mode. He got one down a little bit, and he gets just the end of his glove on it. It ricochets between his legs. Goes into the outfield for a 2-out single. So it keeps the inning going. Brent turns it over to Austin Jackson, who is 2 for 3.
2 singles, 2 runs scored for Jackson.
That's okay, though, because he's let off every time today. If he can get him here, then you keep him from leading off that inning. He's the spark plug. He's the igniter. With his 2 hits today, he is the league leader in batting average. Quick trip to the mound by Marson.
Laffey ready now with the 0-1 pitch. And Jackson lays off. It's a little bit out of the zone. 1-1 to count. The 1-1. Out of play right side. And now Jamie Wright, the big right-hander, gets ready in the Indians bullpen. Laffey ready now. 1-2 pitch on the way. And a chopper nicely grabbed by Brandon to retire the side. We'll head to the bottom of the 6th here at Progressive Field. Tribe stays in front 5-4. 5-4, Tribe on top, bottom of the 6th inning. Time now for our Miller Taste Greatness moment. May 9th, 1995, the first 8 Indians that came to the plate all scored.
Well, I remember that game. It's against Kansas City, wasn't it?
As Dribble Cabrera, Grady Sizemore, Shin-Soo Choo here in the 6th inning for the Tribe. Indians up 5-4. Fute Ni out of the bullpen for Detroit. Cabrera 0 for 3 today, a couple of strikeouts. And the count evens at 1-1.
10th time that Ni has appeared in a ball game. He's only pitched 12 and a third innings, given up 8 hits. Has walked 10. So his control having a little issue.
Caught the outside corner with that pitch. And it's a 1-ball, 2-strike count for Cabrera as the Indians will try to add to their lead here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Did he hold up? No, he didn't. He went around.
He got too aggressive. He didn't like the call, looking for help, but it looked like he did swing. 3rd time today that Cabrera's gone down. Check it out and see if he started. Now that's a tough angle. We couldn't see the barrel head of the bat. His hands definitely were out in front of the plate. He was able to check it. And I can see why he wanted help. Fooled Eric Cooper, didn't it?
Not the first time. Here's Grady Sizemore, 1 for 3. He singled back in the 4th inning. And a fastball strike for Fute Ni. Sizemore got the base hit back in the 4th inning on a ball that he took a big swing, hit it off the end of the bat. And he dropped it in front of the center fielder, Austin Jackson. This time, jam job to short. And Ramon Santiago takes care of that 2 down.
Tribe fans, get gear, go cheer. Spend $50 or more at any team shop, concession stand, or Indians.com and receive a voucher good for 2 tickets to any Indians home game in May or June.
Here now is Shin-Soo Choo. 2 out of 3 is doubled, single, driven in a run. Flied to center in his last at bat. And that ball was hit pretty good, but it got up into the air and just died, and just to the left of straightaway center field. Spun him out of the way. 2 balls, no strikes. Right-hander Ryan Perry loosening. Shin-Soo Choo entered the game today 3rd in the American League in on-base percentage. And so he certainly helped that cause by going 2 for 3 so far. 3 balls, no strikes. Travis Hafner waiting on deck. If Choo gets aboard with 2 down here in the 6th. And Fute Ni slings a fastball in there to make it 3-1. Three-one delivery. And a ground ball to second. Scott Sizemore takes care of that. 1-2-3 go the Indians. We'll go to the 7th. 5-4 Tribe. possible at att.com. AT&T, rethink possible. By the Sierra from GMC. Never send a truck to do a Sierra's job. And by Wendy's. You know when it's real. Wendy's. 5-4, Indians lead it. 7th inning here at Progressive Field. Sun shining, but temperatures on the cool side with a strong breeze blowing left us from the left field foul pole to the right field corner. Johnny Damon leading off, fouls it out of play. Damon today has been on base twice via the walk, and he has scored both times. Aaron Laffey worked a scoreless 6th inning.
Indians trying to stop that string of 10 straight losses to these Detroit Tigers. And the Tigers 18-4 when you date back to last year. Kerry Wood up now. He's getting loose in the bullpen. Don't know if he's up for the right-handers to follow.
Wake Tapper hit to second. And Mark Grudzielanek, a routine play. He's been on the money with all of his defensive efforts so far today. One down from Maglio Ordonez. The last time the Tigers beat the Indians 9 straight was 1935. And as far back as they can track these things, back to 1920, where they have the day-to-day schedule results, Tigers have never beaten the Indians 10 in a row.
That was what, the day you were born, 35.
No, 1920.
No, that was me.
So that's hard to believe, though, when you consider that much history between these two teams. And even though the Indians had the Tigers' number.
Oh, they sure did back in the 90s. You could, they were undefeated, weren't they?
Well, yeah, because
I
the
don't
Indians
think Detroit won a game. 12
beat
straight?
12 all. Yeah, in fact, I was going to look that up.
I think it was in 95. Beat them all 12 times.
I don't know if that was the longest streak or if there was on each side of that maybe some more added to that. 13. Well, so the first game of 97.
Okay.
They beat them as well.
Oh, it was 96. It was only 12 times?
Uh-huh. Pitch down low. Yeah, in fact, if I remember correctly, Rick, the 12th and final meeting of the year between those teams was in Tiger Stadium, and Albert Bell hit a grand slam that day.
Wow, you got a good memory.
I just remember because I was at that game.
So was I, but I forgot it.
And there was part of me that actually felt bad for Buddy Bell, who was managing the Tigers at the time. 2-2 pitch. Weakly hit. Russell Branyan. Easy flip, 2 down. So a couple of weak ground balls to start the 7th for Detroit from Damon and Ordonez. And now Miguel Cabrera. Let's go back to the studios for another in-game update. Here's Al.
Matt and Rick, let's go back to Chicago. Kind of a crazy game here in the early going. Tie game here on the top of the third. Vernon Wells unties it with the 2-run blast. His 9th of the year, 5-3 Toronto. Chicago added a run in the bottom half. 5-4 now Blue Jays, 4th inning.
Manny Acta wants the right-hander Kerry Wood to face the right-handed hitting Miguel Cabrera. Big matchup when we come back. 5-4 Indians lead it by a run. 2 outs, bases empty, 7th inning. And an interesting decision for Manny Acta here in the 7th inning as he goes to Kerry Wood to come on and face Miguel Cabrera. Now, I say interesting because Rick and Redbird did a little statistical evaluation during the break, and you found that Miguel Cabrera actually has better career numbers against Kerry Wood than he does against Aaron Laffey.
Yeah, against Aaron Laffey, he was 1 for 7. But against Kerry Wood, he's 8 for 19 with 2 home runs. So, you're going against the grain right here. But, Ordonez had very good numbers off Laffey, but he grounds out. So who knows? I mean, we'll see what happens. Kerry Wood coming in for the 2nd straight day. He was the loser in yesterday's ball game.
So Kerry Wood coming on to face Miguel Cabrera. Cabrera got Kerry Wood yesterday with the game breaker. And the first pitch off the mitt and all the way to the backstop for ball 1. In yesterday's game, Kerry Wood had the first 2 outs in that inning.
Yes, he did.
Then a couple of walks wound up loading the bases. And then Cabrera got the big 2-run double.
It was Austin Jackson that doubled with 2 outs, then the back-to-back walks.
That's got to be a strike. Absolutely. He went too far. 1-1. The last 6 Detroit outs in this game have all been on the ground. 1-1 pitch. This one is in the air, and this should end the inning. Grudzalonic has it. Nice job by Kerry Wood to come on and get the dangerous Miguel Cabrera. Stretch time in Cleveland. 5-4. Fans, don't forget to stop by Panini's and get your spring started on the right foot with a refreshing beverage and a delicious overstuffed sandwich at any Panini's location. Their Chagrin Falls spot will be opening soon. And for a list of all locations, visit paninisgrill.com. Travis Hafner will lead off the bottom of the 7th inning here at Progressive Field. Hafner 1 for 2. He has singled and walked today. Hafner ready to step in. From the 7th inning on this year, the Tigers have been terrific, and the Indians have had their problems. Detroit, for the season, has outscored the opposition 47-22 from the 7th inning on, including outscoring the Indians 10-2 from the 7th inning on. And on this homestand, the Indians have been outscored, let's see, 17-5 from the 7th inning on.
Well, 1-run lead here. They need 6 outs to go. I'm sure they'd like to add on to this 5-4 lead. Hafner, who's had a good series. When you include that he had a 3-run homer on Friday night that was washed out.
2 balls and a strike. Oh, he changed up on him, and Hafner way out in front, 2-2.
Well, for the number of innings that Futeni has, he has a ton of punch-outs. He has struck out 17 now.
And the 2-2. Travis tried to hold up, and he did, says Mike Riley, the crew chief, down at third. So a full count.
Now, you know, the funny thing was his barrelhead of his bat went farther than Cabrera's did, and home plate umpire Eric Cooper rang up Cabrera.
And now the payoff pitch. And again, it's outside. Ball 4. Indians get their leadoff man aboard.
All right, Tribe fans, stop by your local Panera Bread Cafe during May and June. Take part in the Operation Donation. Donated your chance at the register. All donations will benefit Cleveland Indians charities. Panera's Operation Donation makes it different.
5-4, Indians lead it. Batting bottom of the 7th inning, Austin Kearns to the plate. And the new Tiger hurler is right-hander Ryan Perry for the 13th time this year. 10 strikeouts, 6 walks in 12 innings of work.
Yeah, Perry has made one appearance against the Indians this year and has a save. Won an inning and a third.
Austin Kearns looks at a ball down low.
Young man has a good arm. They've got some good power arms coming out of that Tiger bullpen. Indians looking to add on.
Kearns fouls it back over the screen. 1 ball and 1 strike. The Tigers will go home to take on the New York Yankees. 4-game series between the Tigers and the Bronx Bombers opens tomorrow night at Comerica Park.
I think the Red Sox follow the Yankees in.
A called strike puts Kearns in the hole 1 and 2. Yeah, then they've got 3 with Boston and a 2-gamer with Chicago. All at home for Detroit. Indians, meanwhile, go to Kansas City for 3, Baltimore for 3, and then Tampa for 2 before returning home. 1-2 pitch. Good stop by Avila.
Did that ball hit the dirt? That's the first time I didn't see him exchange a ball. Then that ball did not hit dirt because Avila throws it back out to Perry.
And the 2-2. Close pitch. Full count. Austin Kearns singled and scored the go-ahead run in the 5th inning on an infield hit.
Well, he's hearing it from the other side of the dugout. They're saying there was a strike earlier in the game, and you're not calling it now.
3-2 pitch. Hafner goes, and it's ball 4. Gets away from Avila. Hafner, big turn at second, but he'll stay there. So 2 walks to start the bottom of the 7th for the Indians. Russell Brandon will be the batter.
Well, they were starting Hafner, figuring that Kearns was going to put in play. It was inside off the glove of Avila. Gets back to the backstop. So back-to-back walks. Take advantage of it.
Russell Brandon laid down a sacrifice bunt his last time up, although he was really trying to bunt for a hit in that situation. Looks at ball 1 up high from Ryan Perry, who rushes it up there at 95 miles an hour. Brandon, 2 RBIs so far on the year. Way outside, 2 balls, no strikes.
Well, Perry having a tough time finding the strike zone, and out comes the pitching coach because, you know, he's trying to settle him down. They're gift wrapping an inning here for the Indians unless they can start finding the strike zone. Brandon not bunting in this situation.
No, not now. He's got the count tipped in his favor, 2-0. Indians looking to add to their lead here in the 7th inning. And as you say, it's really been gift wrapped nicely in terms of the setup with the first 2 aboard, nobody out. Got to come away with something here.
Well, you remember back in that 2nd inning when the Indians put 4 on the board, it was Brandon, Grzelcyk, Marte, and Marson all scored in that inning.
And Ryan Perry, since coming on, has had a tough time throwing strikes. 6 of the 8 pitches he's thrown have missed the mark. And another one is wide. 3-0.
You almost have to take a strike here. I mean, you got to make him get in the strike zone. He's been very, very erratic.
The 3-0 to Branyan. Right down Broadway. 3-1.
Now zone in and get that same pitch. Look for it again. Look for that fastball. Cut the plate in half. Pick what half you're looking for and put a swing on it. That's what Russell's going to do. He's going to try and hit one into the seats.
Perry's looking for the pop-up. Branyan is looking for the long ball. The 3-1. Swung on and missed. Kept that one away.
He kept it away and he was tardy on it. And for Russell, he shouldn't be. If he's going to get after that pitch, if he was looking middle in, he should take that pitch. Now, if you're looking away, then look to go out there and drive it to left center field. For a 3-1 pitch, that was a good pitch by Perry, but not a good swing by Branyan.
And now the payoff pitch. Ball 4, and they're loaded. So 3 walks have loaded the bases for the Indians here in the 7th inning. And Mark Grudzielanek will be the batter as the Tigers' bullpen is getting busy. Grudzielanek had a base hit and scored a run in the 2nd inning.
That was with a man on second base. He got on top of a high fastball to drive in another run in his last at-bat, stole a base.
That put the Indians ahead in this game, that RBI single in the 5th. That's the lead they hold at this moment, 5-4. Now a chance to really inflict some damage as the Tigers will draw the infield in here.
Well, there you go. It is set for the Indians. The table's set. Just
Ball
a matter
1 down low
of cleaning it up.
Might not have to do anything but let him
that's
supply
exactly
the offense.
Right. Remember, that's true. The pressure's still on the pitcher right here to throw strikes. He is out of 13 pitches, 9 balls.
Grudzielanek lines it into left field, a base hit. Hafner scores. Everybody else moves up 90 feet, and the Indians now have a 6-4 advantage as Grudzielanek has driven in 2 runs on the afternoon.
Well, good afternoon for him. He has put a nice short stroke to the baseball the last couple of days, and I mean hits a bullet here. He was waiting for it. I don't know if is that a fastball or a breaking ball, but he stayed back on it, and I mean drives it to left field. He normally tries to shoot it the other way, so he speeds up his bat. And Mark Grudzielanek now with 3 hits. He's had a great afternoon.
Again, the Tigers bring the infield in. Andy Marte will be the batter. Marte drove in 2 runs with a triple back in the 2nd inning. Now they're at the cut of the grass around the horn. They desperately want to cut off the run at the plate. Marte sends a sky-high pop. Ordonez with a long run into foul ground, can't get there. Marte stays alive. It's almost one of those plays where even if Ordonez could have gotten to that ball,
run would have scored.
A run would have scored if he'd have caught it, because it would have taken him 4 or 5 steps to stop himself.
Plus he's running into the stands. Yeah, no question. A run would have scored there.
Tribe leads at 6-4. Looking for more here. Low and away, a ball and a strike. With runners in scoring position, the Indians have executed today. I wouldn't say they've beaten the Tigers' doors down, but they're 6 for 11.
Well, I don't care what they've got 6 runs on the board. That's something we haven't seen often this year.
Well, and you mentioned early in the telecast about the strikeouts. And when you strike out, there's no pressure applied to the defense. Today, they had 2 infield RBI singles.
Right. There's 6 straight games they've struck out 10 or more times. And tonight, today, it's only been 5.
Low again. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Bases loaded, nobody out. Indians up by 2, and the 2-2 pitch. Pop back out of play. Lou Marson waits on deck. And the 2-2. And Marte with a high pop left center over is Damon. He'll make the catch. He has no arm at all. And easily coming home to score is Austin Kearns, and now the ball gets away, and everybody moves up. How do you like that?
Well, that's where I think during the course of the year, Johnny Damon's going to have to yield and let Austin Jackson make that play. I mean, he could have came in behind and catch it because Damon's arm, everybody's going to run on him, but this throw gets past the guys at third base. I mean, he wasn't going to throw to anybody. Look at it, it's offline. Nobody there. He's just throwing it into third base. Perry's backing up. Both runners move up, so that's an error on Damon.
7-4, second and third for the Tribe. First base open with one out. Lou Marson to the plate. He's 1 for 3. Drove in a run with a single back in the second inning and takes a first pitch strike.
I think that's the 8th error for the outfield of the Detroit Tigers, and that's their 27th error. So they have played terribly. They are last in the league in defense.
The 0-1. Swung on and missed. Branyan the runner at third base. Grudzelanek at second. Indians up 7-4. Perry looking for a strikeout, and Marson obliges him. 2 down here in the 7th. And the batter now will be Asdrubal Cabrera.
Now, didn't have to throw Lou a strike this time. He helped him out, and he gets himself out.
Well, let's see if Asdrubal Cabrera can come through with that 2-out hit that the Indians have been so proficient at getting. A little bit outside for ball 1. Cabrera takes a strike. Tough day in the return of Asdrubal Cabrera, who was sidelined with a quad strain. Punching out 3 times. Normally he is very adept at least putting the ball in play. Broke his bat there. And a big hop to the shortstop and a low throw dug out by Cabrera. We'll go to the 8th here at Progressive Field. Indians now lead it 7-4. Well, and a happy Mother's Day to all the moms watching this afternoon as the Indians lead the Tigers 7-4. A special Mother's Day for all Indians fans, wherever they may be watching here this afternoon. Tony Sipp coming on for the 15th time this year. He has struck out 12, walked 8 in his 12 innings of work. Brennan Bosch, Brandon Inge, Alex Avila to bat for the Tigers here in the 8th.
Well, we got Ryan Rayburn now coming to the plate to pinch hit. Sipp pitched an inning and a third yesterday, giving up a hit, a run. He struck out 2 and walked 1.
Tony trying to protect a 3-run lead now here in the 8th inning. And he blew him away. 1 down.
Well, didn't mess around. Came right at him with the heater. Challenged him. Rayburn comes up empty. Swings through the fastball. Sipp, first strikeout.
Brandon Inge 1 for 3, singled back in the 2nd inning. And looks at ball 1 down low. Another pinch hitter has moved to the on-deck circle as Gerald Laird. Looks like he's coming on to hit for Alex Avila with the lefty Tony Sipp out there on the hill. And Inge looks at a ball down low, 2-0 the count. Three and 0 the count. And taking all the way, looks at a strike. Three one, fouled back, full count. Well, in our next homestand, we'll get our first little glimpse of interleague play, 3-game series against the Cincinnati Reds. And if the Reds keep rolling, it's going to be a big series for Cincinnati because they are right there at the top of the Central Division standings, trailing only St. Louis. They beat Chicago today, so they're a game over 500.
It's amazing we're already getting to that point, isn't it?
Yeah. And the Chicago Cubs dropped to 14-18 on the year.
Yeah, everybody right around the 500 mark except the Cardinals in that division. They're going to cruise today.
Yeah, they were up big last check. Beating up on the Pirates.
They're looking for win number 20.
Again, the 3-2. Inge went too far, and Tony Sipp has struck out a pair here in the 8th inning. Back to the studio as we go. Here's an in-game update with Al.
Man, it looks like the Twins are taking care of business today against the Orioles here in the bottom of the 4th inning. They would score 3 more. Here's the last one. Nick Puto, little base hit here to right, brings in Span. 6-0 Minnesota. Bottom of the 6th inning now at Target Field.
There is Gerald Laird now pinch hitting for Alex Avila, who went 0 for 3 today. But as we mentioned, Laird's had a tough go of it offensively this year, as well as Avila. Laird 0 for his last 13. But going back to when they originally signed him at the winter meetings, I still remember Jim Leyland saying, not worried about what he does for us offensively.
Right.
And Laird has done what they have expected defensively in terms of throwing out runners and handling the staff. But I think they had a little more than a $141 in mind offensively.
Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, he's a good receiver. And, you know, it is early. He does have 64 plate appearances, 64 at-bats.
Tried to bunt his way on, pops it foul, and it drops harmlessly for a strike. Not a bad idea when you're trying to snap an over.
You catch the third baseman back, and you need base runners. They're down 3, so even if you hit one out, you're still down 2. So you need base runners to get aboard. So not a bad idea.
You could see Andy Marte as if to say, you know, if he's going to drop one down and get on with the bunt, I'm going to tip my cap to him right there. It's not like you're going to start cheating in. But with 2 strikes, don't have to worry about that now on the 1-2 pitch. Popped him up. This will lean its way into the seats down the right side. One-two pitch. Brushed him back a little bit. Sips 2-2 pitch. Checked his swing and fouls it back. And the 2-2. Strike 3 called. Ring him up. Tony Sipp whiffs the side here in the 8th. Seven-4, Tribe on top, bottom of the 8th inning here at Progressive Field. Left-hander Phil Koch coming on for the 16th time this year. 3 wins, no losses. ERA of 1.80. He's fanned a dozen, walked 8 in 15 innings of work. And he'll be facing Grady Sizemore, Shin Soo Choo, and Travis Hafner, all left-handed hitters for the Indians here in the 8th inning.
Laird remains in the game behind the dish.
Grady 1 out of 4 today, singled back in the 4th inning. 3 groundouts in his other tries. Popped up, out of play. Indians need 3 more outs to stop a 5-game losing streak and to end their 10-game losing streak against Detroit. Grady cuts after it. A ball and 2 strikes. A little bit too high. Right-hander Eddie Bonine starting to heat up now. Now the 2-2. Didn't miss by much. Full count.
Came right back at him with a back-to-back fastballs. Tried to get him to chase at that fastball up and away for the 2nd straight time. See if he comes back now with 3-2 hook.
Now the payoff pitch to Sizemore. Right back over the screen. Talked earlier about Austin Jackson, the Tigers' talented center fielder who is a great basketball player and could have played college basketball when he was coming out of high school. Phil Koch, on the other hand, his current Tigers teammate, when he was in high school, there was no basketball. He was a wrestler.
Oh, yeah?
Here's the payoff pitch to Grady. And a drive to right field. Back goes Ordonez, and he will make the catch. And that's out number 1. Don't forget to tune in tonight at 7 o'clock for All Bets Are Off with Bruce Drennan. I'm not sure who Bruce's guest will be on the show tonight, but I'm pretty sure Russell Brandon will not be a guest.
He won't have any Indians, I guarantee you that.
Luis Valbuena also will not be stopping by. But he'll take your calls and emails about the Tribe, Cavs, and Browns. All bets are off tonight at 7 only on STO. 1 ball and no strikes. According to Phil Koch, he said, I was not necessarily a great wrestler.
What weight class was he in, does it say?
I'm guessing heavyweight because he's listed at 210. Well, probably, I don't know. I'm trying to think, back in high school, 185, right around 200. You're pretty much up there with the big boys. But he says, quote, I was just a big dumb ox who liked to throw people around. Land on them, pin them, and it was over. Big chopper to second. And a bounce. And he couldn't come up with it cleanly. Sizemore is going to be charged with an error as Chu gets aboard with 1 out.
Well, you don't have time to bobble it when Chu's going down the line. That's one thing he does. He hustles all the way through it. Once Sizemore did not field this ball cleanly, you know, that hop had jumped up on him a little bit, and you figure, okay, stay with it and get him. But Chu gets down the line too well. Second error of the afternoon by the Tigers.
Here you go in full speed.
Well, and that wasn't even full speed for Chew.
Now Travis Hafner, 1 on, 1 out. And the ball is not on the field from that Tiger bullpen. Oh, boy. Maglio Ordonez tossed that ball in the direction of a Tigers fan down into the right field corner. The guy leaned over the railing to catch it and fell out onto the field. But he's no worse for the wear. Give credit for Ordonez defining a Tiger fan right there. But Phil Koch said, wrestling was just something he did to pass the time until baseball season came around. It's something that he always wanted to do. He said, even when I was a kid, as far back as I can remember, always wanted to be a major league pitcher.
Well, his dream came true.
Fastball strike to Travis Hafner. Didn't come easily for him, though, Rick. He languished in A-ball for quite a while. He didn't get to Double-A until 2008, and he was drafted in 2002.
Wow, that's been a lot of time in the lower minors. That's hard to do. But you figure he's got a little, you say the wrestling experience. If you ever hit somebody and they come out to get him, you get him on a 2-point takedown and start wrestling him down.
I'm looking at numbers trying to see, what it might have been that held him back. Nothing really jumps out at you. Just up and in. He hit Hafner. He didn't want to do that. Now they've got 2 on with only 1 out. And Jim Leland's going to go right back to the bullpen. So Phil Koch got the first man. Should have had 2 outs and bases empty, but the error and now a hit batter. And the Indians threatening again with 2 outs in the 8th. And we'll be right back. Spinning some pretty good numbers so far. 2-0 and only a $1.23 ERA in 14 2/3.
I remember when he came in against the Indians in that one game. He ended up having a lead, but he had pitched 3 innings and gave up 4 hits, a couple of runs. But remember, he went out with a little rib cage pull or muscle. After 3 innings, he was pitching.
Luis Valbuena running for Hafner over at first, talking with Sandy Alomar. Shin-Soo Choo, the runner at second, with only 1 out. And the batter will be Austin Kearns. And Kearns today is 1 for 3, but he has also walked and he has scored 2 runs. And this guy continues to do a terrific job for the Indians in the middle of that lineup, giving them some steady offensive production. He's driven in 15. He's doubled 9 times. Checked his swing and fouls it off right side. Now the 0-1 delivery. And a ground ball up the middle, right to the second baseman Sizemore. The flip to Santiago and back to first for the inning-ending double play. We'll go to the ninth, 7-4 Cleveland. Perez coming on to try and notch his 5th save of the season. He works with a 3-run lead. He'll face the 8th, 9th, and leadoff hitters for Detroit. Outside ball 1. Since the Indians intentionally passed on Miguel Cabrera back in the 5th inning, Mitch Talbot, Aaron Laffey, Kerry Wood, and Tony Sipp have combined to retire 11 of the last 12 Tigers hitters. And the last 7 Detroit batters have gone in order. So a terrific job by the Indians bullpen here today.
Yes, they did. 3 innings, 1 hit by the bullpen. They did not walk anybody and 3 strikeouts.
But now Chris Perez has fallen behind Scott Sizemore 3-0. There's a strike called to Scott Sizemore, who has flied to right, struck out, grounded to third today. Three 3-1 piled away, full count. Seven runs on 10 hits for the Indians. 4 runs, 7 hits for Detroit. And the payoff pitch is fouled away. Look out below. Ramon Santiago, the number 9 hitter, on deck. Broken bat liner to center, and the Tigers get their leadoff man aboard here in the 9th. Stay tuned immediately following the game for the Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care post-game show. We'll have all the highlights, and we'll get you set up for the Indians' upcoming road trip. Plus, Al will have highlights from some of the key games around the league. Ball 1, and out goes Lou Marson for a toss. And well, he was going to go say something.
You know,
he turned and walked away.
Almost said, like, all right, I know, get back behind the plate. I don't want to talk about it.
Here's the 1-0 pitch. It's kind of like that awkward moment where you see somebody across the room, you wave to them, you think they see you, but they don't, and they don't acknowledge you, and you're just trying to put your hand behind your head.
Yeah,
like
there's about three other people waving to you.
Oh boy.
You've done that before.
Oh, multiple times. Here's the 2-0 now, and Santiago taken all the way, looks at a strike. The 2-1 pitch. Santiago rips it back foul. 2-2 the count. Last time I remember seeing this many birds circling the field, Coco Crisp was trying to dodge one of them and catch a line drive. And the Indians ended up using that to their advantage to beat the Royals. 2-2. A little bit outside, full count. Well, Chris Perez is one more ball away from really putting himself in hot water. Top of the order, Austin Jackson waits on deck. You don't want to have to see Ordonez and Cabrera in this inning. Payoff pitch. Ball 4.
Oh boy.
Giving up a hit and a walk. And now it's game on. And
well, you
here
know
comes
what happens
Tim Belcher,
now.
the Indians pitching coach.
He's going to have to come out and calm him down, because you were looking at 8 and 9 in the lineup, and the damage has been done today by the top of the lineup. And you're to the point now where you say, uh-oh, here we go again. You know, because it has happened. Last time, although there was an error, following that error, a bad pitch, and it came in that Toronto series. But with young teams, they have a tendency, you know, it's here it goes, here it goes. But the one thing you don't want to do is get that 3-4 hitter up there and give them opportunities. We told you Detroit's a team from the 7th inning on that have been very, very good.
Well, unless he gets a double play ball, he's going to have to at least face Maglio Ordonez. Austin Jackson, 2 out of 4. 2 singles, 2 runs scored. He's got 4 hits in this 2-game series. And looks at strike 1.
In the 9th inning this year, Tigers have outscored their opponents 18-4.
The 0-1. Back to the screen. Well, it's been part of the Achilles heel on this homestand where the Indians have been outscored 7-0 in the 9th inning. Lloyd McClendon flanking Jim Leland in the Tigers dugout as they look to come from behind here in the 9th. Tying run at the plate for Detroit. Nobody out. And the 0-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Chris Perez gets the strikeout. 1 down in the 9th.
That was located well, that pitch there. He hung one the pitch before. But he made sure, I'm going to go down and out of the zone. Great pitch there to get the strikeout.
And a pitch that's very tough when you're down in the count 0-2 as Jackson was.
Well, that's why you're going to get the swing. When the hitters have it in their favor, they won't swing at that.
Here's a guy with a great eye at the plate, Johnny Damon. Looks at ball one. Damon has walked twice and scored 2 runs.
Very key hitter right now in this ball game.
One-0 pitch. Caught the outside corner. There is Santiago at first with Sizemore ahead of him at second. 1 out here in the ninth. 7-4 Tribe on top. 1-1 pitch at the knees, a called strike. Damon pops it up. Andy Marte says, I'll take it. And he does. 2 down. Take a look at our player of the game right now, Mark Grudzielanek for the Indians, with a terrific day at the plate, going 3 for 4. And defensively, while he's done nothing, say, spectacularly, he's made every play. And that's all you can ask sometimes of your defensive players.
That's exactly right. Make every average play and don't worry about anything else.
I've got Grudzielanek for 5 assists and 2 putouts defensively here today. Maglio Ordonez, 2 for 3, 2 doubles, 2 runs batted in, tying run. And he fouls it back into the seats. As patient a hitter as Ordonez can be, he also looks early in the count for his pitch. And if he gets it, he's coming after
He does
you.
with runners on base.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, because he realized that may be the best pitch he sees in that at-bat. There's no doubt he can get aggressive.
Close pitch, just missed. 1-1.
The breaking ball away. Couldn't hit it, so don't swing at it.
The 1-1. Up the middle. Grudzielanek, the flip. Game over. Terrific job by Chris Perez after getting himself into some hot water. Pulled himself up by his bootstraps and gets out of it. Perez has his 5th save, and the Indians stop a 5-game losing streak, beating Detroit by a final score today of 7-4. The win makes the Indians 11-18 on the year. The loss drops Detroit back to 17-14 on the season. The win goes to Mitch Talbot, who pitched the first 5 innings, and he is now 4-2 on the season. The loss goes to Max Scherzer, who drops to 1-3 for Detroit. And it's time now for our play of the game, brought to you by KeyBank, banking home of your Cleveland Indians.
Well, Mark Grudzielanek had a great afternoon. Offensively, he comes in, man on second base, moves the runner over to third with a base hit, gets on top of a fastball there for Max Scherzer, drives in a run, and then bases loaded, gets another fastball. Nice, short, quick swing. So 3 knocks on the day, a couple of RBIs, also scored a run. So Mark Grudzielanek is going to be our KeyBank play of the game.
7-4 Tribal winner. And we'll be back with a Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care postgame show next.